Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's one of those scary options, you know. You kick off right at the beginning of the day. Everybody is alert, everybody is fresh, enthusiastic, willing to listen, and at the same time critique you. And the good point is, it gets over within 10 minutes, 600 seconds. I mean, Vandana told me 20 minutes, but then I halved it accordingly. You know, I said, come on, I'm really not an expert in the digital world area. Just guided a few PhDs, Vandana one of them. And so I think it's just for JBS. Because after all, today is the day of JBS. 1st March, luckily it's not 1st April, but 1st March, and it's a day when JBS has got together for its first national conference. So I think a lot of kudos goes to the organizers, the conveners, and everybody else associated with it. Also in Exalted Company, NIIT Technologies, Microsoft, IMI, Bhubaneswar, the whole gang. And I think it follows up with a lot of people after that also. Okay. But at the end of the session, ladies and gentlemen, you do get tea. And I hope that there are samosas included also. But let's look at what are we trying to say. Innovation sells. And I think as management people, all of you all know it. That is especially true in the internet world. Since its inception, there have been lots of innovations and new applications in the internet. Those innovations have caused major changes in our everyday lives, and we can feel it across the myriad of applications, including education, shopping, entertainment, learning, banking, investment, etc. One of the recent innovations in web-based applications is the online social networking services. Let me just show you a table, progress of web-based services, which takes place across the years, starting from static websites in 1990s, and everybody remembers the Netscape Navigator in 1995, the all-important one. Moving on to interactive websites, we got Java applets, JavaScripts, VB scripts, etc. Search engines. Who doesn't remember Google, which is so active now? It started in 1998, before that Lycos and Yahoo. Discussion groups, Yahoo groups, Google groups, going on to e-commerce sites, Amazon, eBay, etc. And finally, in the early 2000s, online social networks. MySpace, LinkedIn, Flickr, Ning, YouTube, Facebook, you name it, they're all there. They're all there. And so, social networks allow people to connect with all different types of interests. And one area that is expanding in the use of these networks is the corporate environment. Businesses are beginning to use social networks as a means to help employees to connect, or customers to obtain information or help. Business companies using social networking services to support their products or customer services may be becoming a new trend. A good indication of this is the recent acquisition by Cisco of TribeNet. And what was that? It was an almost forgotten social networking site. And FiberCross, which is a developer of social networking software. And why did Cisco do this? Because it felt it could use both the platforms to help their corporate clients to build their own social networks. And I think that's where the importance of social media and e-networking comes in. In addition to social networks used by companies to provide employees or customer services, popular online social network services such as MySpace.com, Ning.com also attract online ads from retailers and corporations, which place online ads on the social network sites to take advantage of the large volume of visits by potential customers just like us. A very important success factor, and we can examine Google, which is one of the most interesting internet phenomena in the last decade. Starting in 1998 as a startup search engine company, today Google has grown into a $100 billion+ enterprise, with part of its success based on its business model of providing free search engines to web surfers. By tracking large number of users to its search engine, Google is able to charge an advertiser fees by placing its online ads on the Google site. People have been wondering whether the success of Google and other online search sites would be duplicated in online social network sites. A few years back, a lot of questions, a number of them were asked universally in different ways. How will MySpace, Facebook, or YouTube make money? Do social networks or user-generated sites have legs like search engines? These were typical questions asked around 10 to 15 years back. And these questions are irretrievably related and linked to the existence of business models for social networking sites. Because without a business model, venture capitalists will not have pumped money into social networking startups. And as there is an intended business model in subscriptions, classifieds, and even targeted advertising. Ladies and gentlemen, various social networking sites exist in today's online communities. Hundreds of social networks, websites have been created on the internet, and new ones continue to pop up every day. I show you a table listing some of the popular online social networking sites. Okay, and some of this data, the people count out there is as way back as 2007. We have MySpace in March 2003, which is for general users. Okay, the stickiness is the average time in minutes which a user spends on the site. Number of members out there. But look at Facebook. It started in 2004, and in 2007 at 13 million people count and around 11 million members. Okay, and today that 11 million has grown to 1.11 billion users. Just imagine, the space of 6 to 7 years, it's grown. And everybody knows Facebook because a couple of weeks back, it acquired WhatsApp for a mind-boggling $19 billion. Okay? And everybody knows WhatsApp consists of only 55 members out there. But Facebook acquisition of 19 billion was going to be exceeded by Google, which was willing to pay more than $19 billion. These figures are mind-boggling, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and look at Xanga blogging, around 8 million members in 2007. It's grown to roughly around 30-40 million now, and so the list goes on. When we look closely and try to analyze online social networking services, there seems to be a business model involved. Undoubtedly, one of the most important features of a business model is revenue collection for sustaining the business. There exist 5 primary revenue models: advertising, subscription, transaction fees, sales, and affiliate. And my next table gives you an indication of what actually these mean. Okay, where you can see an example of advertising revenue model is Yahoo. And what's the revenue source? The company gets paid for putting up advertisements of other organizations. Go down to transaction fee, which EBA lists out. The company charges commissions for enabling or executing a transaction. And finally, affiliate, which is the example is MyPoints, which is an affiliate model, where the company gets paid for referring people to other services companies. I think there has to be, and everybody acknowledges, the business model is the most important for getting the social networking sites going. Most of the existing online businesses use hybrid revenue models, with most online social networks providing free services to users without charging any fees. There's no way that we'll get on to Google or any other search engine and pay money. It is also apparent that whenever a revenue model is used in an e-business, it is essential to keep the customers hooked to the site. Michael Porter in 1979 developed a framework for business management known as the 5 forces analysis, which examines those forces close to a company that affects its ability to serve its customers and make a profit. All of you, management students out here, must be aware of this framework, and I show you a graphical representation in the next slide. A change in any of these 5 forces listed normally requires a company to reassess the marketplace. Okay, you take a typical, the first one, let's say bargaining power of customers, and you know it's high when buyers have many choices from whom to buy, and vice versa. So as a provider of products and services, an organization wishes to reduce the buyer part. And so typically, if you look at it, there is a threat of new entrants, substitute products, bargaining power of suppliers, and finally leading to competitive rivalry within an industry, which is high when competition is fierce in a market and low otherwise. In India, several companies are using Twitter and Facebook, mass mediums, to understand potential hires and engage with them to tell brand stories. For example, American Express India connects eyeball to eyeball with talent in the social media space, a space the new generation is very, very comfortable with. And you're the new generation. The company has started putting up video job descriptions on YouTube. Employees talk about their role and take potential hires through the company's work environment. For IT companies like HCL Technologies, social network sites like Facebook are particularly useful for niche hiring in talent segments like SAP, PeopleSoft, Oracle, etc. Another example, Ingersoll Rand International uses social media to share information with passive candidates. Passive means those who have posted their resumes on social networks and left them there, so to speak, about new positions and gives them insights into the company through posts of staff stories so that the candidates are inspired to work with the company. With millions of potential candidates connected to friends, competitors and colleagues through networking sites, companies in pursuit of this talent pool are now looking to have an edge over their competitors in the online jungle. They're coming up with innovative methods to leverage the digital medium to get a closer and more informal understanding of talent besides selling the brand to Gen Y. Recently, an Indian health portal signed a special endorsement deal with who else? The utterly delectable Priyanka Chopra. Not for her strikingly good looks, but for the 4.2 million followers she has on Twitter. She will tweet about the portal. Celebrities in India, like the counterparts in the West, have included social media like Twitter and Facebook in the brand endorsement contracts or are getting paid separately for tweeting about brands as marketeers study to reach their online fan base. Twitter is a very big aspect of a celeb's reach. Sponsored tweets are gaining traction in India. Social media contracts, which include Twitter, Facebooks, blogs, Instagram, and websites of celebrities, cost a brand of up to 25% of a traditional endorsement contract with a celebrity. I'm just going to take up two specific aspects, ladies and gentlemen. One is social media is the plumbing for word of mouth. Now, what does that mean? This is a vivid image. Plumbing services are a very important purpose. It brings water to our sinks and showers, and water is an essential building block of life. Plumbing also helps get rid of waste. With this, we hit on the modern question of where digital marketing starts, and I provide to you two distinct worldviews which become visible. One, a view is that the internet begins with us seeking information from a central bank of data, the search engine concept. And the second worldview is that the internet begins with the opinions of those in the social space, the classic word of mouth gone digital. Social media sites bring us the information we need to know. An example is that of finding new restaurants. Google, as the dominant search engine, was solely the source of finding something in the era prior to the proliferation of social media, early to mid-2000s. However, as social media has become more ingrained, it can be perceived that it has partially displaced the search engine as the undisputed source of information. Social media can be used to flush out the bad, yet bring items of value to the end user, functioning in the same manner as plumbing. A second statement is most organizations, and a lot of them in this room, are in the media business and they just don't realize it yet. Content is king in digital marketing. We all know that. Content is a central component and the lifeblood to all of your marketing activities. With media, content has always been the king, even thinking about the old media model. Content is what has always driven people to watch a television show, listen to a radio station, or read a newspaper or a magazine. Compelling content is what it matters. We can urge people to create content that people care about, even if it isn't necessarily in the area where you are selling a product or a service. Some topics will always be juicier than the others, such as there's certainly a lot of content out there about sports at all levels. If it's cricket, we're always hooked on, whether it is professional, amateur, state, national. Other topics that garner interest, I know it, dating and relationships. The suggestion is to build a following based on a compelling subject matter, produce much of the content to that subject matter, then feature soft sell articles about your product category from time to time in the fashion of an editorial, a common feature in the old media paradigm. This strategy could be a hard sell in a lot of organizations, as many organizations typically operate from the push mentality, which is pushing the subject matter above all, making the most noise they can about it, and hoping that the content rises above the noise. Some might have a hard time seeing immediate results from the idea suggested, and unfocused to the core business content could be seen as unproductive. Typical examples are Guinness, the World Records, and Michelin, a restaurant guide, producing content seemingly unrelated to their core businesses to build brand awareness and lead people down the path towards selling more products. I said Michelin because Michelin, after all, is a very big tire manufacturer. And the world of social media, ladies and gentlemen, offers significant opportunities for businesses. The ability to read, write, web, or Web 2.0 as it's termed, to empower the contemporary consumer has gained significantly from what is being termed as the arrival of a generation of enthusiastic, internet-savvy consumers, eager to explore, eager to interact, eager to form social and structural bonds with organizations, and with a keen desire to be heard by organizations and brands. This has resulted in the need to focus on the value perception being created by the brands in the online sphere. Social media is being used as a consumer empowerment device. E-marketing services as a significant apparatus to build credibility and trust and enhance the value perceptions of the consumers for a particular organization, product, or brand. What are we looking at of value are the characteristics of the online consumer and his web presence and the potential of using the web as a CRM tool. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I have reached my 600 seconds. Vandana is nodding away at that side also. Okay, but I'll just sign off with a quotation by Martin Luther King, and this is for JBS. Okay, King said, if you can't fly, then at least run. If you can't run, then at least walk. If you can't walk, then at least crawl. But God's sake, let's get going. And I think JBS has done that. Thank you.